Has been completing bucket list items as part of their series, Never Too Late.
Yeah, so we've actually been doing our own, and over the next few weeks, we're going to share them with you. So first up, something I've always wanted to do my whole life, equal parts grueling, thrilling, and just a little bit dangerous.
Tuckerman Ravine, a majestic bowl near the summit of Mount Washington. It's the ultimate proving ground for skiers in the Northeast. The rewards are exhilarating, but the risk can be fatal.
Two skiers tumbled nearly 500 feet down Tuckerman Ravine on Mount Washington.
A 28-year-old Quincy man rescued after being caught in a snow collapse in Tuckerman's Ravine Trail.
Conditions on the mountain this time of year can make it especially dangerous and unpredictable.
The steep slopes, icy conditions, avalanches, and crevasses have all claimed lives. But despite that, thousands of skiers make the pilgrimage to prove their mettle, and I'm no different.
The fun part, right, Keith?
That's right, we're here.
Yeah, man. Let's get it.
There's definitely a lot that's going on out here besides just the skiing. There tends to be folks who are really great skiers, but maybe haven't been in an environment like this.
Keith Moon of Vertex Mountain Guides is leading us. The first leg, a 2-mile hike with almost 1,900 feet in elevation gain at a 15-degree grade. That's 3 times as steep as Heartbreak Hill and 4 times as long.
Dude, tired. It's unbelievable, man. This is unbelievable. There it is. Yeah. Right up there.
That's my buddy Dave. After a quick water refill,
Be better just to put my face underneath it.
it was on to the second leg of the hike, another 35 minutes and nearly 1,000 feet of elevation gain.
This hike itself,
Yeah, there's a lot.
serious business.
For sure, yeah, there's a lot more to it, and we see the glamorous skiing, but you don't often see this part of it.
All that beauty morphed from a boulder field to snow as we entered the floor of the ravine.
From here, this is where it gets serious. Or I should say even more serious.
Even more so, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
so we'll pull off over here and switch over our equipment, get ready for the real show.
The real show.
We got into our ski boots and attached crampons, and staring up at the head wall, we took it all in.
I'm not scared to do it. I'm not nervous. I'm just stoked.
Yeah.
The final leg to get to the top, a 1,000-foot alpine climb.
We haven't been doing a lot of talking because this is arduous. This is a serious hike. And you look down, it's, Dave, how you doing?
Woo! This is no joke, dude.
No joke.
When we finally reached the top, one last moment of reflection.
And people up here, no one's in a rush to get down. They want to make sure they have their energy, their senses, and just enjoy the view from the top.
I gotta admit, standing above it all, I was nervous. I had this swirl of muscle fatigue, adrenaline, and excitement. But after a cautious entry, everything just kicked in.
Yes, sir.
There's really no way to describe the rush of going down that sheer face, but I can say, I can't wait to do it again.
Oh, that looks so steep to me.
Oh my, it is very steep, and you're standing on the rim. You've got dead legs from 3 hours of hiking, no practice run, and you're like, here we go.
Here we go.
But it was so awesome. And the summit of Mount Washington is only like 100 yards away. It's that high.
Wow.
It's
That's the thing. We
crazy.
think of skiing out west as the big kahuna, but
Yeah.
that is no joke.
Yeah.
Going
Oh,
to
we
Tuckerman.
met people from all over hiking up, and that was on a weekday when it wasn't that busy.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So was it the thrill that you hoped it would be?
I can't wait to do, literally cannot wait to do it
Yeah.
again, as I said. There was so much that we couldn't put in the piece about safety, the mistakes people make, and why a guide is so valuable. So Keith and I discussed that. That's a YouTube exclusive on the WBZ YouTube page. You got to watch that because he's one of the most highly rated tour guides in the entire country.
Wow.
And I'm joined now by the man, Keith
Sure.
Moon of Vertex Mountain Guides up in New Hampshire, who shepherded us through this incredible adventure. Again, Keith, thank you so much. I must have said this half a dozen times that day. I can't imagine doing this without you.
Sure.
So what do you do? What do you offer? Because we couldn't get into that, as you saw in the piece.
Yeah, sure. No, absolutely. So, ultimately, I really appreciate that, Chris. But, and it was a great day skiing with you guys. a few days ago. But the thing that we offer primarily is obviously deep knowledge of the area, and a tremendous amount of safety and security that we can provide with it. But I really think beyond that, a big piece that I hope you felt during the day is a lot of reassurance that you can do this, and trying to kind of make sure the day is formulated in a way that you're going to find it successful, and be able to achieve that objective you're looking for. Making sure, I think we talked about it during the day, but not taking too big of a bite of the apple right away, and making sure we're set up for success. So I think that's something that a lot of great guides, and I hope we did during the day, is set the day up in a way that just makes sense, and we're able to really get out of it what we want out of it.
Yeah. Oh, it was fantastic. And my buddy Dave, who's in the piece, and we've just been talking about it ever since.
Sure.
One thing that I tried to highlight was how arduous the hike and climb were, just to get to the rim.
Sure.
I don't think you can adequately express it, because not only is it long, but it's constantly uphill. It's like unless you're stopping, there's never a break.
Yeah, and I think again, during the day we certainly talked about a lot of this is how to manage ourselves going up the mountain. When we talk about skiing in Tuckerman Ravine, it's obvious and easy to focus on the downhill part, the skiing portion in the ravine itself. But as you saw during the day, that's a real small portion of a very long day. So managing that uphill part is something that I don't think a lot of folks consider coming into it, and definitely something that is at the forefront of our minds heading into it. But it's definitely a tall task, kind of getting up there and trying to optimize ourselves to not overload ourselves on the way up, make sure we have enough energy for the down, not just from a safety standpoint, but again, it's like we talked about, it's supposed to be fun, for that downhill part.
What are some common mistakes that you see? Because even on a weekday when it's not crowded, we saw dozens of people coming up, coming down, in the floor of the ravine.
Sure.
When you're walking and hiking by and you see people, what are the most common mistakes you see people making?
Yeah, it's harsh, to point out necessarily mistakes, but I think some general trends that we often see is that people. One of the most concerning things I think that we definitely see in Tuckerman Ravine is we watch people just kind of blindly follow other people in front of them. And we talked about that, some of those paths that we saw going up through the ravine of there's no way I'd go that way, and we're going to go this way instead. And I think sometimes you get this kind of false sense of security of, well, if somebody else did it, that must mean it's the way. And that isn't always true. So I think blindly following other people is a big mistake that we often see. Another one is not having any sort of traction on your ski boots. We wore the crampons going up the gully itself, and it's pretty mission critical to have that ability to hold yourself on with some sort of traction, whether that's micro spikes or crampons. Flat ski boots just don't have very good grip as a general rule. So having that just adds a lot more security and makes it quite a bit more pleasant going up. I'd say those are two pretty common things, just blindly following people and not having some sort of traction on your boots.
Yeah. And even, I've been to countless resorts, but the act of getting our skis into that A-frame, as you call it, on the backpack, I mean, that requires a special pack.
Sure.
It had side straps and a backboard in it. Yep. You provided those crampons. I mean, these are all things I can't even imagine being in someone's periphery.
Sure.
When they're like, let's go tackle
to the ravine. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we saw that, and that's some of that kind of time, and again, Tuckerman Ravine is such a interesting place. There's so much historic reverence and skiing with it that it's some of that classic behavior of just hiking to the bottom, putting your skis on your shoulder, and just fighting your way up. Feels like the thing to do, but there's just such a better way to do it. And that's really what we were trying to kind of get out of the day, is that we can do this, but there's definitely a better way to do it.
Yeah. So you do ice climbing as well. And then I've followed your Instagram page, Vertex's Instagram page. You've moved on now into some springtime conditions.
Springtime,
So it's not just Tuckerman.
No,
it's not just skiing. You're going 24/7 here, 365.
Yeah, all kind of mountain-based activities for sure. You know, it's a heavy dose of skiing in the springtime here in New Hampshire for sure, but it's a quick transition to rock climbing. So I was just out with some folks yesterday doing some rock climbing, and that'll kind of carry us all the way through until the fall when we start getting back to winter again here. But yeah, it's there's a lot to do up here for sure.
Yeah. And Keith, you're one of the most highly certified instructors of this kind in the entire country. Again, a million thanks to you.
Yeah.
We could not have done it without you. Keith Moon of Vertex Mountain Guides, helping make this Tuckerman Ravine dream come true. Thanks once again, and good to see you.
For sure, Chris. Yeah, my pleasure.